Okay, we are live. 5 seconds of live. I love it. Okay, welcome back, everybody, or if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. My name is Katrina, and I am currently making a video every day in December because it is Vlogmas. And today I am joined by the lovely Hayley. Let me get this the right way around. Yes, you are there.
I am
lovely
here.
Hayley. Hi, Hayley.
Hey.
And Hayley is a fellow blogger, and we have hung out quite a lot in person, and now we only hang out virtually, but everybody else is hanging out virtually. We were doing it before it was cool.
We've always been cool, that's fine.
Yeah, that's it. I will leave Hayley's blog in the description box below, along with my blog and all of my social media links. And I will leave, once this is up on the channel, I will leave a playlist of my other Vlogmas videos linked up there. No, up there. Up there. It's literally too much to cope with. It is too much to cope with. Oh, look. We have Mum watching. Normally you're watching Mum and I. Yay! So Hayley and I, this year in particular, have done quite a lot of buddy reads. When I actually sat down and thought about it, I was like, we read all of Paige Toon's novels together this year, as well as all the other buddy reads we've done outside of that.
Oh, wow. When you think of it like that, it's mad.
Yeah, because I was kind of like going through, because I've been making my top 10 lists and kind of reviewing the year. And I was like, yeah, we read all of Paige Toon novels. And then we read, did we read both of Heidi Swain's novels together this year as well?
Yeah, I want to say we did. Or if we didn't read both of them, then
we read one.
We were very close together if we weren't reading it together.
Yeah, and then
summer one.
Yeah, we read a whole load of other books together. So I'm like, oh yeah, we've done loads of buddy reads this year. This is cool. We have Kelly with us. Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
Yes. So we did this, which will definitely be our final buddy read of the year, I think. I don't think we're going to squeeze in another one. And we read this one, and I was like blown away by this book. I said, I have to make a standalone review on the channel of it. And I asked Hayley if she wanted to join me so we could actively review and discuss together. So it's something I've never tried before, doing a live review or doing a review with somebody else. So this is a whole new thing. And as you know from the thumbnail, if you've already clicked on this video, today we're going to be talking about This Time Next Year by Sophie Cousens. You've seen the UK cover in the thumbnail, and this is the US cover. And between us, I think we had 3 different formats, because I listened on audio and I had the physical book to kind of keep track of where I was. It's still got the markers in. And then you had the Kindle book, right?
Yeah, Kindle.
So between us, we covered all 3 formats. So that was quite cool. I will say that the audio was very good. I had no complaints with the narration. It wasn't like especially good narration or like, you know, full cast or anything like that, but it was a good audio. If we're talking about the actual format, and this cover is just too pretty not to have. It's too gorgeous. Look at those stars. Look at them. So pretty. And yeah, the cover.
Yeah, yours has got a bit of added colour because it's got the pink, whereas our one's just white with the gold and the silver.
Yeah, I know. This is now turned into a UK versus US covers. I like the UK cover, but it didn't make me pick it up. I picked this up because I was attracted to the cover, and so I put it in my book of the month box as my pick for that month, whereas the UK one had already been out for 2 months by that point.
Yeah, I must say, I was looking at it for a while before we said, well, you said you were going to read it, and I wanted to read it, but then, yeah, downloaded it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting that I was drawn to the US cover, because that's not something that normally happens for me. I'm normally more of a fan of the UK covers, but yeah, this one made me buy it, whereas the UK one didn't.
Ooh, controversial.
I know, it is a little bit controversial. So the tagline for this one is, how many chances to meet your perfect match, and this book does explore the number of chances that Quinn and Minnie have to meet, to talk, to like meet again, maybe. But yeah, I like the fact that this book dealt with like just two characters, and we followed these two characters through. It reminds me of another buddy read we did this year, Miranda's new book, where we followed two characters, and it was a bit of a will they, won't they type of deal. But yeah, what did you think of Minnie and Quinn?
Well, Minnie, from the beginning, there was something about her, even though she was a bit crazy is probably the nicest way. She was a bit bizarre, but you could see why.
Mm-hmm.
And Quinn, I guessed from the beginning that there was a lot more to Quinn than we first thought, and I liked discovering his story as it panned out, and like as we found out and as Minnie found out certain aspects. Wow, that's hard to say without making a spoiler.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a spoiler review because it's always spoiler free here on this channel. But I think it's safe to say that with Minnie, you get to know her very quickly, and she kind of like lays all her cards on the table very, very quickly. And with Quinn, it's the exact opposite. We get to know him like achingly slowly, and we have to meet other people around him to get to know him and to see what makes him him. Would you say that's a kind of, yeah. And one of the, again, this is not a spoiler, but one of the things that adds to, as Hayley said, Minnie being quirky and sort of not your typical rom-com heroine, is the fact that she kind of rescues things. So, you know, we all have people who, like my guinea pigs that I've had, they've all been like adopted guinea pigs, and people go to the cat shelter to adopt a cat. But Minnie takes it to the next level. As well as having adopted animals, she is like, oh no, this book needed rescuing, it looked all sad, it needed bringing home. And this sofa needed rescuing, it looked all sad, it needed adopting and bringing home. I thought that was a really cute aspect.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like, even, yeah, again, no spoilers as such, but even in her most darkest of times, or as people would say, night outs that go wrong, she's still being herself. And even though she sticks out because of that, she doesn't see it as a total bad thing. She's like, okay, right, I'll change my top. It's not great, but yeah. And she just gets on with it. So she's got a confidence that she doesn't really realize to start with. And then as she goes on, her friends kind of give her more of that confidence, and the people around her.
I agree. She's very comfortable in her own skin, and that gives her this like natural confidence. And I think that's why it's very easy to get to know her right from the start of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely the fact that we've got these two characters who are quite different, and we come at these two characters from different perspectives. We know an awful lot about Minnie, and we're like, oh, that's really endearing, we like her, we're kind of getting along with her. And then here's Quinn, and we know the story of Quinn being born at the same time in the same hospital as Minnie, but then we don't know an awful lot about him. And so these two very different things about these two characters like suck you into the book straight away, because you're like, oh, I like Minnie, I want to get along with her, and I want to know more about Quinn.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's safe to say. And because we are just following these two characters, it's definitely a very character-driven book. So if you are a fan of character-driven novels, then this one is definitely for you. But the other thing that I personally really liked about the book and made me keep reading it is the structure. And it's got quite a unique structure with some flashbacks and then a kind of continuing timeline throughout 2020. What did you think of the structure of the book?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I liked that on not every occasion, but on certain occasions, we had both of their take on a particular day. So it looks like the book repeats because you get, say, the 13th of June twice, but you're getting both their perspective. And sometimes I think one of them we had like 3 times because you had both of them and then jointly together, where you see come together, or you have an individual flashback of, say, Quinn, and then later on Minnie's kind of includes that, but at a different time, which it really worked. And you could see, I think, but the further you get into the book, you're like, oh, at certain aspects. Well, I definitely was anyway.
Yeah. And I loved when we got to repeat the dates again, because I love any novel where you get a dual perspective on things. Oh, this has just happened. This is how it's affected one of our lovely new friends. And how is our other character going to react to this? It's always that. And like you say, you kind of go, oh, I need to know what's going to happen next. And then we do the classic thing of we flash back to a different time, and then we have to wait till we come back to present time to find out what happens next.
Yeah. It's definitely a book where you will keep saying just one more chapter, just one more chapter. And where some of the chapters are very, very short, especially where I was reading it on the Kindle, it was telling me it was like 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Well, that's easy to just read that. And okay, I'll make another drink and have one more 5 minutes.
Yeah. I will say it was the same in the audiobook. The audiobook was good in that the chapters were labeled as chapters, and then you could go to the contents and click to a particular chapter. So if you said that you were like reading up until the end of like such and such chapter, I could be like looking as to how far away I was, or I could pick up my physical book and look at how far away it was. I would say that the UK cover of this one looks like this is being marketed much more there as a Christmas book. Would you agree?
I'd say I think it's being marketed as this time, but it's more like New Year based. But it looks where it's glittery. It does look more like a Christmas book, and on a shelf you wouldn't necessarily notice it's not a Christmas book as such.
Yeah. But I would say if you are watching this and you're thinking, oh, this is a Christmas book, I don't like Christmas books, I don't want to pick it up, or even like if it's, you know that it's a book that's set at New Year, I would say don't be put off by that, because the bit that we get to carry on through 2020 takes us through every month of the year in 2020. So whilst we have flashbacks to various different New Year's Even day, because that's when their birthday is, the story, the timeline that runs throughout the book is all through the year, and we get lots of different aspects of the year.
Yeah.
Was there anything other than, because for me it was all about the fact that we had these two very different characters, and I wanted to know more about these characters and how they're going to interact, and then I also really loved the structure. That's what really like hooked me into this book. Was there anything that stood out particularly for you that really like ticked all your boxes? Or
like you say, the structure is great, and having the dual narratives I've got used to now. And there's a lot of books where, like you say, they're character driven, and it gives you a focus in that sense. And if you relate to the characters in any way, then yes, you're more inclined to get on with it. But then for me, the other aspects were like where you would see something happening and you're like, oh my god, that's to do with that, and you saw the jigsaw pieces coming together. I don't want to say any spoilers, but I've got a couple of aspects in my head just now where I can see it coming together, and you're like, that's you. and it's like, but you don't know that that's you. And it is so easy to just keep on reading. So easy.
I think it's safe to say that their storylines are more interconnected than they realise.
Yeah.
And their storylines are more interconnected than we realise at the start as well.
Yeah.
And I would say that we don't find out how interconnected their storylines have been until the very end of the book.
Yeah, there's a gorgeous moment that, yeah, I can still feel it in my heart. There's a gorgeous moment, and then you're like, it was. And for me, so there's a lot more to Quinn. Like, their backgrounds are so different, and their class structure, I suppose, is quite different because of the way their lives have gone. But he's not what we first seen in any way, and I liked that being uncovered, and it being a special way of doing it, because you weren't sure. It could have gone either way. I'm glad that it went the way it went, because Quinn is the way he is. But yeah, it could have gone two ways.
Yeah, definitely. And the book as well as sort of Minnie's confidence being like a sort of side story, we also have some aspects of mental health explored through Quinn's family. And again, not sort of going too much into that, because I think some of that is part of the reveal that goes on throughout the story. But I think that was good to bring that in as a side story and make it not a big issue in the book, but just, this is what's going on with part of my family. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think, like, as is the world now, mental health is definitely a big thing. And I love that the way Sophie's written it, that it's not, like you say, it's not a major deal, but it is, and it's the way everyone gets on with it. And when you do see, like, when Minnie realizes more about Quinn's backstory, she's not like any of the other girls he's been even friendly with in the way she reacts. And I don't think he understands that until later, because he's used to people judging and not taking it at face value, where she's very, like, all of her friends are either a variation of ages and quirks and different ideals of what life should be like, and she takes each and every one of them at face value. Like, I love this. I love the older generation story with the younger people as well, and I like the way that was brought in with, was it Bev? I can't remember. But like that, I really enjoyed that, because it just does prove that a variation of ages can get on and can work together, be friends, and look out for each other. And like you say, yeah, again, it's Minnie thinking of everybody else before herself.
Yeah, it's like you say, the multi-generational thing has been like a bit of a kind of buzz topic, especially in romantic comedy, and to some extent just sort of like general or literary fiction this year. There's been a lot of multi-generational friendships, multi-generational like mishaps and adventures, and so it was nice that was brought in to this book as well. If you could sum up why somebody should read this book, because we're reviewing this book because we were so blown away by it and we so enjoyed it. So if you could sum up why somebody should pick up this book sooner rather than later, how would you sum it up?
Now I want my pad. Well, it's hopeful, it's profound, it's heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time, and it's just a brilliant escape read. And whether you read it on your own or whether you choose to do it like we did with a friend, it's definitely the book to pick up. And I think it's still only 99p on Kindle. It's worth a lot more than that.
Yeah, it is linked in the description box. I believe I put the link in there. But yeah, it's definitely excellent value. I think what I did was I bought even though I had a physical copy, I bought the Kindle book and then added on the audio book. So I own multiple copies of it. Yeah, and my library has the audio and my library has the ebook as well, which is very cool. But yeah, what you said about it being hopeful and definitely that warmth that just, I think the warmth is down to Minnie, definitely. She just brings that warmth. But yeah, we will warn you that if you do it as a buddy read, it'll be very hard to not keep reading while you're waiting for the other person. So if you're doing it across multiple time zones and you're reading while the other person's asleep, it can be dangerous.
That is 100% true. The other thing that I really, really loved is New Year can be a hard time for a lot of people, and this year is probably going to be worse in that respect. I liked the aspect of the sunrise, and I'm half thinking, oh, do I try and do that on New Year's? Depends on how the night goes and whether I actually drink too much or not. But I liked that. It was very hopeful, and it was like new beginnings, and I'm hoping that 2021 is going to give us a brilliant new beginning. I know it's going to start hard again, but yeah, that gave me a little bit of hope, and that was quite early on in the story.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all need that hope right now, and maybe that's one of the reasons that we were so drawn to this book and so enjoyed it whilst we were reading it.
Yeah,
but
no,
yeah,
definitely. So.
you'll have to let us know if you manage to stay for the sunrise.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Look what we've inspired.
Yay!
Yeah.
I've even tweeted Sophie saying that I hope we get to see these characters again, and she did say maybe one day. So it's not a yes, but there is a maybe. Any maybe is always happy for me.
Yeah.
This
is one of those where I don't know. I like the closure that we got for me personally. But yeah, I would love another book structured like this. I'm a big fan of a structure.
It does
like
it does sound like her next novel is going to be very similar in structure, so it'll be nice to see. I don't think it's out till like May or something, but
yeah,
does look like it's going to be the same sort of way. So hopefully.
Yeah. Kelly, you are more than welcome to ask a question. Anybody else watching, if you want to ask a question, or if you're watching this afterwards, you can leave questions in comments. Everyone is always welcome to ask questions. 100%. I think especially since we've sold you on the book. That's absolutely. But yeah, and as well, if you're watching this afterwards whilst Kelly's putting her question together, and you like this format because we buddy read this book, we decided we wanted to review it together, let me know in the comments, because I did find out that Hayley would be happy to come back and talk about books again. So yeah, if you like the format.
Yeah, we've had quite a good year of buddy reading thanks to the crazy year it's been. So yes, we've got the opportunity, and now I know I can get this to work. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, now we know the technology works for you. I'm like, oh, let's go back and do our page soon, reread again, and yeah. Okay. Oh, it's a tough question. Are you ready?
No. Yeah, go on.
Okay, the two of you have read multiple books together. Which one have you enjoyed the most? And then, yes, there you go.
Thank you, Kelly. I always feel like I sound really, really weird on YouTube. I did start doing my own one before, but I haven't done it for very long, and I tend to jump on cat stuff. So this one. I think the other one that was the most intense, which is always going to be the most intense for me, was Page Tunes, because we read that in 24 hours, on the publication day. Even though I had it earlier, I waited because I wanted to read it with Kat.
Yeah, because I'd pre-ordered the audiobook.
I don't know, what else have we read? There's been some lovely ones this year.
Yeah. So this is a spoiler alert for one of my future videos, but I really, really loved reading the Jesse Jefferson novels. I was like, it's not Jesse Jackson, Jesse. Yeah, that's
Jefferson.
right, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And All About the Hype, and I Knew You Were Trouble, because you'd read those ones, or you'd read the first one.
Yeah, I'd read the first one.
And I hadn't read them, and they're Page's YA novels. It's a young adult trilogy. And I was so pleasantly surprised by that one. And that has made it onto my list of top 10 YA novels that I read this year. I know. So that's a spoiler alert for a future video of mine. It's already filmed, so it's coming your way soon.
Coming soon.
Yeah, I think probably Monday or Tuesday next week it'll be up. But yeah, like you say, the Page one was really intense.
Yeah, it was so. I mean, that's another one where you can't say too much anyway, because of the dramatic twist that you could half see, but you didn't think it was totally going to happen.
Yeah.
I know that her next one, they're doing cover reveal next week, I believe.
Ooh, exciting.
And it already sounds intense. I want it now. But I've had a headache for the past week, so I've not really done much reading.
No.
I think Heidi's ones were great as well. Heidi's always a good read. I don't remember. We've read quite a lot this year together.
Yeah, I really enjoyed reading this one, and it was nice because it was kind of like semi-festive as well. And then I was pleasantly surprised by Page's YA trilogy, and I really, really liked that one. And then it was the one of Page's that you had read that I hadn't read, which was One Perfect Summer.
Oh.
And you just had me like texting you going, oh my God, I love this. Why did no one tell me to read this sooner? Why didn't you make me read this? Why haven't you told me to read this? Oh, this is so good. And you were like, oh, I know what's happening. And I was just going, oh, I love this person. And what's going on here? And I hate this person. And what's going on here? And you knew what was going on. And so that was an interesting buddy read experience, because you had me like loving it and you knew what was going to happen.
Well, I was thinking, based on something you said the other day, don't know when we can organise it and how long it's going to take, but you've read more Lindsay Kelk than I have, so I think that might have to be our next little read section.
Well, if she releases another I Heart book, then I always have to reread the I Heart books before the new one comes out. So I've reread that series multiple times because she kept bringing out more books. But yeah, I would also the Lindsay Kelk book that I would really like to reread is the Single Girls To-Do List, because I read that when I first moved down south, and I was single and I just moved to like a bigger city, and so it like really hit home, and so it'd be really interesting to reread that given where I am now.
That'd be interesting. I haven't read that. I'm sure I have it, but I haven't. The usual. It's on my Kindle.
You'll have it. Yeah, you'll have it. Yeah, it's on my Kindle because that's how I read it the first time, and then my library has the audio as well because she has some good audio narrators.
Yeah, my library's a bit hit and miss with the audios. Like with the Sophie Cousens one, they had the Kindle, but it was like a 7-week wait or some craziness. But they didn't have the audio, so it's like, okay.
You need to be like me and have multiple library cards. On my little Overdrive app on my phone, I have 3 different libraries on there.
How do you have the time?
I don't, but like sometimes if one library doesn't have it, another library might have it,
That's very true.
Yeah, and I know I shouldn't still have my old library cards, and I shouldn't be admitting that on here, but I do. in my purse I have 4 different library cards.
Oh wow.
But one of them isn't on overdrive, so I can't use that.
I must say that's another thing that this year has done. I've used the Libby app for the library a lot with audiobooks and a few ebooks on there, and it's been a godsend for certain books and getting a few more reads in while I was sunning myself when we had some sunshine before it got cold.
Yeah. Yeah, it was when I've been back there, it's been great the fact that I can be like sat in, you know, in a prep with you in London, and my hold on one of my audiobooks of my library here in Denver will come through and I can just download it straight onto my phone. I love that. Like I have my Denver library in my phone at all times.
That's pretty cool. Oh, Pret, that feels like a million miles away. That was a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. We've sat in multiple coffee shops together. Yeah. I would like a Pret right now, I have to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have one when I was in New York in February, so it's not been that long, but
okay.
I would like it right now. Yeah, when I go to New York, I basically go to like all the places that I like miss from London that they have there. So they have Pret and they have Pan Quotidien and they have Wasabi. And so I'm like, oh, they've got this here. They also have Topshop, which they have inside some department stores in other places, but the fact that, you know, in New York they have it, I'm like, okay.
Any more questions?
Yeah, is anybody else watching got any more questions? If not, you can leave them in comments on the video afterwards, and if there's any for Hayley, I will let her know, or she can keep an eye on the comments too. But yeah, as I say, if you are watching this afterwards or watching this live right now, do you like this format of review? Obviously this is the first time we're doing it. We could make it shorter and snappier, I'm sure, but yeah, this is new for both of us, which is exciting. So if you like this style of video, we can make this style of video again. And yeah, I like the fact that we were able to give you the UK cover on the thumbnail and the US cover. Look at it again, it's so pretty. It's so pretty.
And I like that. I feel like the him and her on your one is more profound.
Yeah, well, because it's just the silhouette.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there other people on the UK one? I can't remember now.
Yeah, they're in the middle, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I need to get a physical copy. I will at some point.
Yeah.
Add to my ever expanding shelves. Oh, but this way.
Which way are they? Just go like straight. Stay straight.
There's a lot of craziness going on back there. I've missed it. I've got so much reading I want to do. I listened to 2 chapters of an audiobook today, which I should have read ages ago, but hey ho.
I think I probably listened to about 2 chapters because I was out in the car this morning, so I was listening in the car, and I was before we go, what audiobook were you listening to?
So I'm listening to Freya Kennedy, The Lives and Hope of Libby Quinn. It's a debut novel as Freya Kennedy. It's Claire Allen's.
Yeah, my library has that one. It popped up yesterday.
Well, it came out, I want to say, May, June time. So during lockdown, and I obviously downloaded it and then got sidetracked. So I didn't read it. Then she was promoting The Pursuit of Happiness, which is out yesterday.
Maybe that's the one that popped up on my library.
So that's also on my Kindle now. But she said that they're not. You can read them separately, but it helps if you read the first one. One is it's a cute story about a reader and her granddad who has passed away, and then she ends up with a shop. That's all I'm going to say so far. But each chapter has got a book name, so it starts with now I can't even remember. But like, I know the second chapter is of Mice and Men, and then Sleeping Beauty, Les Miserables. There's loads of different bookish chapters, and it's kind of connected to the book, but also not, if that makes sense.
Okay, nice.
Well,
I am listening to Well Played by Jen DeLuca, which is the sequel to Well Met by Jen DeLuca, which is she is a US romance writer, which I sometimes struggle with, but I really liked Well Met. And it all takes place around like a Renaissance fair, which is interesting and just like fun. And the romance in this one has a little bit of mistaken identity, and the heroine of this one is also plus size, so I'm like, yes, I'm here for this. Yes, so it's quite cute so far, and I'm just over halfway, I think. But yeah, and I went to a virtual library book party last night and added 2 more books to my overdrive shelves, which isn't good. Yeah, a YA novel and a middle grade novel, so that should be fun. I've got a couple of middle grade novels left on my shelves, which I tend to kind of save for around this time of year because it's so busy, and I really enjoy reading middle grade. And I used to obviously read it a lot for my job, but I tend to save them for this time of year because they're a nice easy read or an easy listen at this time of year.
I'm not sure I understand.
Oh. But Siri getting involved. It's honestly no. It's trying to get involved again. Oh my goodness, so rude. Okay, well we shall wrap it up there because I'm going to go have lunch. You probably need to go have dinner. The joys of being 7 hours time difference apart. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you thought of this one. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on tomorrow's video. I am sure that Hayley will be back on the channel again soon. So hit that notification bell and you'll be notified when she is.
Unless you really didn't like me.
Yeah, if you didn't, keep that comment to yourself. That's fine. Okie dokie then. Anything to add before we leave?
No, thank you for having me, and thank you, Kelly, for your questions as always.
Absolutely, thank you very much. And yeah, I will see you with another video tomorrow, and we will see Hayley on the channel very soon. Bye.
Bye.